right, lovely. You look lovely. Now let me just get the sound going. You do your thing over here. All right. So, let me see. Excellent. This is K, and we are rolling on Tascam 851. Test on mic number 1. This is a lot of fun. It's mic number 1. This is K. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Stage Cheers. This is Juliana.
Hi.
You're joining us live right here, right now at Nutley, New Jersey, where we have filmed all of our video podcasts so far. Say hi to the crowd. Tonight's episode is on Pygmalion and all its adaptations, in particular, what's happening on Broadway this season and next season.
Exactly. So, Juliana, we're set. We are rolling. And you know what's interesting about this? You and I met here.
We met here, and this is the room where it happened.
This is the room where it happened. You're not wrong. And you directed me in A New Brain to start off this most recent season.
Yeah. And it was less than a year ago. We made our first video together, which was while we were in the cast of 1776 with our director, Iacometta right here. We made a video tutorial, makeup tutorial for our cast on how to do
androgynous makeup.
Androgynous makeup, yeah.
It's an all-female cast of 1776.
That's right. So we were just talking down there, putting on our makeup.
Yeah.
Putting on gobs of makeup.
Well,
layers
you're
of
you.
makeup for me.
This is actually kind of how I dress all the time. For those
all
who
the
see
time.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen our show, haven't listened to our show, I'm the high maintenance one. Usually appears in costume.
Which, that means she holds down the glam, so I look like I'm ready to run a 5K, which I am tomorrow morning.
But I actually,
5Ks.
even though we started working together about a year ago, I think I spend more time with you than my significant other.
This is not wrong.
We're constantly video chatting, working together, putting up the next episodes.
Coming up with ideas.
It's like having a new roommate, really.
Aww,
all the time, you're always in my face. So when we first started,
at all.
when we first started thinking about doing a podcast together after this makeup tutorial, we did a spreadsheet.
Her. She's a big nerd. I love you. The Googler. We call her the Googler. That wasn't the back
yes, we used Google Sheets. I made a spreadsheet. We both contributed, and we just started listing all of our passions, and yes, we ranked them. We gave them each scores, and it became very obvious that we both are obsessed with fiction, nonfiction, theater, and history. So we put it all together. Jess did a great job kind of telling about our episodes that we've done so far. This is episode 13?
14.
14? Oh, thank you! So we're answering on here.
People who count things.
Win it. Yeah, this is episode 14. So you have plenty of time to catch up.
Because you can listen to it whenever. I think Jess might have said a few times it's free and available.
Totally free. You can catch up. It's in the cloud. It's in the air for you to get. So when we got our passions together, actually, iTunes found the name of our podcast.
This is
right?
true. We went back and forth on what we should call it, and then my lovely genius shuffled up a certain song from Kiss Me Kate that you might know called So in Love.
So in Love. Strange here, but true here.
And Juliana navigated the whole how much of that can we sample without setting on rights. So, thank you.
So Strange here, Cole Porter wrote this in 1948, which by that time a lot of people thought his career was over. And then
we're starting to go down. We have this thing we also tend to go down what we call rabbit trails. Well, it's interesting. It doesn't necessarily keep us linear.
Okay.
So the thing is, but that's not going to happen tonight.
It is not going to happen tonight.
No, we are staying on the straight and narrow.
Which is interesting. It's an idiom actually from Mark. Is that a rabbit trail?
Yeah.
Okay.
So so tonight we are recording episode 15, The Pygmalion Problem.
You released one last night, but it was really late.
It's all good. See, I fixed it in post. I'm also our post-production team. It's fun. And since you're not just listening to this on your home device while folding your laundry, Michael, we're going to have a little fun here. Jess and Laura, I know you guys found us some lovely fresh meat sitting in the front row.
Some cold readers.
Okay, that, yes.
Laura, would you please introduce our cold readers?
Cold reader number 1, Michael Smith-Gallo. Number 2 is Oleksij. Yes. Number 3, Resnick. Number 4, Juliana, Nolan.
So the players are set. On with the show.
So it's the year 8 AD, and the Roman it connects now. The Roman poet Ovid wrote his most prolific work, most important work so far, the Metamorphoses. Metamorphosis is from the Greek word, which means transformations. Every character in the work undergoes a transformation.
There once was a young sculptor named Pygmalion.
Would you please? You can read your side.
This is the outline. No, you don't. That was on purpose. Yes.
Yes.
So he lived alone on the island of Cyprus. There was no sculptor more talented than he. Pygmalion spent his days hard at work at his art. You're going to have to work a little harder than that if you're the best sculptor in the world. Thank you. Right. So now...
It's important to note, though, that in this story, Pygmalion has no time for any friends. He doesn't have time for a wife or romantic relationships. And in some versions, he's just not interested in women.
He's Sheldon Cooper.
This is going to be a theme, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Because for all of his genius and brilliance as a sculptor, he has zero social skills with the ladies.
Aww.
In fact, in the story, he says to the universe, "I suppose I shall never find a wife."
Aww.
He says,
I suppose I shall never find a wife.
but that's right. I mean,
Should I be Greeker?
no. I mean, it's just pretty sad, right?
Yeah, it is sad.
Really
So sad. Super sad. It's literally the saddest of...
Anyway, it's super sad.
One day, he comes up with a plan, though, to create the perfect wife out of marble.
Yeah. So go ahead, do it. Create the perfect wife out of marble. And make sure that she's ideal.
Pygmalion finds the perfect block, sculpts with great care.
And you might even say with great
Love. And when he's done... art lovers all over the world. All over Cyprus, they come to view Pygmalion's magnificent sculpture.
oh my god, it's brilliant. It's so lifelike. I love
But
it.
you know what? That isn't enough for Pygmalion. I mean,
Oh, God. Yeah, so he wants his work to be the loveliest creature that was ever made. No woman could ever be as beautiful, for that matter. I mean, close to that beauty. So he works on her day and night and day, until at long last, Pygmalion steps back and gazes into the statue's eyes.
I was going to prompt you to gaze more, but that's pretty good.
And at that moment, a strange thing happened, dears. Pygmalion was struck with a feeling that he had never felt before in his weird little hermit sculpture life. It was love. He had fallen deeply, madly in love with a thing he just made. I mean, isn't that just so?
So moving on, to look at the statue, one would never guess she was made of stone. Yeah, no. Pygmalion decides that he will call her Galatea.
Valente.
There you go.
Which is a Greek word meaning she who is milk white. And actually that part of Ovid's story is not in the story. The name Galatea is later added in the 17th century.
Juliana.
Yeah,
Hippity hoppity Easter's on its way.
Okay.
Yeah. So instead of being proud and joyful, Pygmalion is unhappy and dissatisfied.
So he's got an idea. He's going to kiss her and wake her up.
But turns out stone lips aren't so good at kissing back. So Pygmalion is still obsessed, however. So next, he dresses the statue in expensive clothes.
Is that okay? Pygmalion? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we could make it blue or
Red or
Red
something,
or
but
purple.
surprise, surprise. He asks her what she'd like, but she doesn't answer him. It's the stone thing, I think. But Pygmalion pretends that she does. That's not weird at all. Talk about being strange, dear.
So he starts bringing her presents. He brings her birds, flowers, jewelry. He even tucks her into bed every night beneath the softest and warmest blankets ever.
But eventually, wow, man, it's commitment. Oh boy, eventually he has to admit he's in love with a lifeless thing, even though it's laughing. But now he's miserable.
Finally, he just gets so depressed that he calls out to Aphrodite.
Aphrodite!
The goddess of love, to help him find a woman as lovely as his sculpture. Look out here, maybe, to find a woman.
So Pygmalion goes to...
Did you find anybody?
You want me to go find somebody?
Just keep working.
Okay.
You're obsessed. You're obsessed.
You're obsessed here. No, all right, so now it's the next morning. Yay! And he comes to look at his statue, as usual. Only this morning, the statue's eyes seem to follow him wherever he goes. As you, oh wow, lost in place. And when he reaches out to take her hand, under his coat, it's warm.
Oh my gosh, good job.
Pygmalion steps back in surprise, and then he leans in to kiss her gently.
But her entire form softens like wax in the sun.
Wax in the sun.
Yeah, there's a simile I heard the other day. I just wanted to throw that in there. Great.
Except she's not supposed to melt. There we go.
Pygmalion takes her in his arms and says, "Is this real or am I dreaming?"
Is this real or am I dreaming?
And she answers, "I'm as real as you are, my love."
I'm as real as you are, my love.
And Pygmalion asks Galatea to marry him.
Will you marry me?
Oh, come on, get on one knee.
Will you marry me?
And she says,
I gotta think about it. Come on, it's the moment. Go.
yes!
I always cry at statue weddings. From family or brides.
So the basic Pygmalion story has been widely interpreted throughout the centuries. Guys, you can go ahead and go down. Thank you. We see a lot of this story in Renaissance art. We see it in the late Romantic period, in theater, opera, and ballets. And in the mid-20th century, we see the story told with robots, androids, and automatons.
You just wanted the chance to say automaton, didn't you?
Yeah.
Thought so. Well
Yes.
played. Now, a variation on this idea can be found in the story of Pinocchio, where you have a puppet created by woodcarver Mr. Geppetto. And he's transformed from an inanimate object into...
A real boy!
Time.
A real boy!
Thank you, Pinocchio. Your check's in the mail. Though in this case, the puppet can walk and talk and even think before the transformation.
Yeah, and then a much more obvious adaptation of Ovid's work is obviously the 1914 George Bernard Shaw classic, Pygmalion. However, Mr. Shaw also mixed in the legend of King Cophetua, the beggar's maid, in which the king lacks interest in women but one day falls in love with a young beggar girl. He makes it his mission to educate her to be his queen.
Sound familiar? Shaw's comedy of manners, in turn, was the basis for the Broadway musical My Fair Lady in 1956.
There's some quotes from that.
Yes.
Women are irrational, that's all there is to that. Their heads are full of cotton, hay, and rags. They're nothing but exasperating, irritating, vacillating, calculating, agitating, maddening, and infuriating hags!
And woo! Come on, Dover, move your blooming nose! And the 1987 romantic comedy, Mannequin.
It's those jelly donuts! They call me in the middle of the night. Hollywood! Come and get me, Hollywood! I can't stay away from them. It's like you in women's dressing rooms.
And in 1990, Richard Gere, Julia Roberts' film, Pretty Woman.
I want the fairy tale. You're late.
You're stunning.
You're forgiven.
Writers just cannot seem to get enough of this Pygmalion trope, can they?
Nope, and neither can Broadway. As this theater-savvy crowd probably is just a little bit aware, a new revival of My Fair Lady is currently playing at the Vivian Beaumont Theater at Lincoln Center. Now, the original 1956 production won 6 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, and made a little someone named Julie Andrews a star. Might have heard of her. You know, she's getting along in the business. And you know what? I'll be sure to update these stats as soon as the Tony Awards happen next weekend.
That's right, and we should also mention that a new musical adaptation of Pretty Woman goes into previews next month at the Nutley Little Theatre, and a new revival of Kiss Me Kate is aiming for Broadway in early 2019.
Wait, Kiss Me Kate fits in here too?
Absolutely. Cole Porter created Kiss Me Kate by adapting Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew. That fits into the theme perfectly. Petruchio comes to Padua to tame a wild and unmanageable woman for his wife, to change her into the ideal...
Okay, I get it.
Okay. Oh, I feel a sit-down segment 3 happening.
Lead on, Macduff.
Actually, that's a misquote from Shakespeare. He actually writes, lay on, Macduff.
Rabbit trail.
Rabbit trail.
Rabbit trail.
You're right.
Oh, wait. This is that part when you listen to the podcast where you have that music so you can take a hot second to, like, you know, maybe pause it to go to the bathroom or do your dishes or whatever it is you might be doing between seconds. Or if you're Juliana, you're changing costumes. Like, here!
Now it's 1990.
Check it out. I love how fast that happens. All right.
So, to audience here and audience who's still joining us on Instagram, we haven't forgotten about you.
We are live on Instagram right now, yeah.
Some women are a little tired of hearing the Pygmalion story being played out again and again with a woman who needs to be rescued in order to become an ideal woman. Fair?
Yeah, I am ashamed that women are so simple to offer war where they should kneel for peace, or seek for rule, supremacy, and sway, when they are bound to serve, love, and... you're right, I've always loved Kiss Me Kate, but now I feel weird even liking it.
Well, no, let's talk about this.
All right, well, you know, I've just been kind of thinking, because for whatever reason this season we've just got so many of these happening. I mean, what is it about this women are there to be rescued, redeemed, remolded? I mean, you know, we've got Carousel, we got My Fair Lady, we got Kiss Me Kate now, new Pretty Woman is coming. I mean, I can't help but feel like we're sending kind of a conflicting message in, not to bring it into the room, but the hashtag Me Too era.
Well, and I've heard, sometimes I use the word rolly-eyed. Sometimes people are getting a little rolly-eyed and a little sick of the Me Too movement, thinking that it's being misappropriated. The thing is, this is not a new trend. This is not a new idea that's being put forward. This is the idea that we're kind of lifting up a rock and looking at what's underneath, what's been there for a long time, and where these ideas came from.
Yeah. So I think, you know what? Let's look at this. How about we pull out Pygmalion and we have our first scene here.
So guys, can you bring up side number 1? This is all 4 of you. Pygmalion is the original play from the book was adapted to become My Fair Lady. So the words that you're going to hear tonight are specifically from the play version and not My Fair Lady. This is from actually the top of Act 2, when all the characters are meeting for the first time in Professor Higgins' home.
Out of 5. Act 2 out of 5.
Act 2 out of 5.
Just say Act 2.
That's right. One of our bonus segments that we're going to add soon is Michael throws shade.
Usually by text, but now I get to do it in person.
Whenever you're ready.
What is life but a series of inspired follies? The difficulty is to find them to do. Never lose a chance. It doesn't come every day. I shall make a duchess out of this gutter snipe.
I still
Yes, in 6 months, 3 if she has a good ear and quick tongue, I'll take her anywhere and pass her off as anything. Start today. Now, this moment, take away cleaning Mrs. Pierce, monkey brand, if it won't come off any other way. There's no good fire in the kitchen.
Oh, yes,
And
but...
then take off all her clothes and burn them. Ring up Whiteley or someone, wrap up a brown paper till they come.
You're no gentleman, you're not, to talk of such things. I'm a good girl, I am. I know the likes of you, I do.
We want none of your listen grove prudery here, young woman. You've got to learn to behave like a duchess. Take her away, Mrs. Pierce. If she gives you any trouble, wallop her.
No, I'll call the police, I will.
But I've no place to put her.
Put her in the dustbin.
Oh, come, Higgins. Be reasonable. reasonable.
You must be reasonable, Mr. Higgins. Really, you must. You can't talk over everybody like this.
I walk over everybody? My dear Mrs. Pierce, my dear Pickering, I never had the slightest intention of walking over anyone. All I propose is we should be kind to this poor girl. We must help her to prepare herself and fit herself for her new station in life. If I did not express myself clearly, it was because I did not wish to hurt either her delicacy or yours.
Well, did you ever hear anything like that, sir?
Never, Mrs. Pierce, never.
What's the matter?
Well, the matter is, sir, that you can't take a girl up like that as if you were picking up a pebble on the beach.
Why not?
Why not? But you don't know anything about her. Oh, what about her parents? She may be married.
Gone.
Yeah! The girl very probably says, gone. Married indeed. Don't you know the woman of that class looks a worn-out drudge of 50 a year after she's married?
Who married me?
By George, Eliza, the streets will be strewn with the bodies of men shooting themselves for your sake before I'm done with you.
Nonsense, sir. You mustn't talk like that to her.
I'm going away. He's off as jumpy is. How long don't belong is teaching me?
No, indeed, madam, Well, very up, Mrs. Pierce. You needn't order new clothes or I'll throw her out.
No, you got no right to touch me.
You now see now what comes of being saucy. This way, please.
I didn't want no clothes. I want him taking them. I could buy my own clothes.
You are an ungrateful, wicked girl. This is my return for offering to take you out of the gutter and dress you up beautifully and make a lady of you.
Hold. See? Yeah. Now, but look, what's he saying to her? I know we're playing it for laughs here, but come on.
We are playing for laughs. So let's take a look at the end.
Okay, fine.
Right? Guys,
fine,
can you grab the next scene? This is all of you, except unfortunately for Michael, you're not in this scene.
We'll make it up to you.
Yeah. Hey, you guys can come down a little further.
I apologize in advance for my British accent.
Great.
We love you.
These truly these truly are cold readings.
I'll let you see whether I'm dependent on you. If you can preach, I can teach. I'll go and be a teacher.
What will you teach in heaven's name?
What you taught me? I'll teach phonetics.
Ha!
Oh,
Ha! Ha!
oh my son's an assistant, Professor Lupin.
What? That impostor, that humbug, that toadying ignoramus? Teach him my methods, my discoveries. You take one step in his direction and I'll wring your neck, you hear?
Ring away, what do I care? You knew you'd strike me someday. Now I know how to deal with you. What a fool I was not to think of it before. I can't take away the knowledge you gave me. You said I had a finer ear than you, and I can be as civil and kind to people, which is more than you can. That's done you, Henry Higgins, it has. Now I don't care that for your bullying, your big talks, I'll advertise it in the papers. Now your Duchess is only a flower girl that you taught, and she'll teach anybody to be a Duchess just the same in 6 months for 1,000 guineas. When I think of myself crying under your feet and being trampled on and called names, when all the time I had only to lift my finger to be as good as you, I could just kick myself.
You damned impudent slut, you. But it's better than sniveling. Better than fetching slippers and finding spectacles, isn't it? By George, Eliza, I said I'd make a woman of you, and I have.
Yes.
I like you like this.
Yeah, you turn around and make me to now stop that. I'm not afraid of you, and I can do without you.
Thank you, guys. But even though Henry Higgins is the subject of the play, he's not necessarily always acting heroically, and Eliza has a chance to stand up for herself at the end of the day.
You're right. Shaw does give her a strong ending.
That's right.
You know, strong. Thank you guys. Certainly stronger than the musical gives her. I would argue with you, though. I mean, she comes back in the end and gives him his slippers. I'm not suggesting she march out the door, but you know what? Okay, fair enough. But let's take this idea and move it forward 40 years to Pretty Woman.
Guys, can you come up here with the Pretty Woman side? That's side number 3. This scene happens after Vivian, who's the Julia Roberts character, is...
Eliza, in a way.
Yes, right, or Galatea, has been attacked by Edward, that's the Richard Gere character's, a co-worker, William.
That's a nasty little trick you found. I came and dropped some paper. She started pissing me off.
Why were you hitting her?
What are you, gentleman of the year? She's such a whore. What difference does it make?
Get out of here. You all right?
You guys always know how to hit a girl. Wham, right across the cheek, nice and high so it feels like your eye's gonna explode. Stepfathers, boyfriends, pimps, cops, even little lawyers in suits and ties. They hit you all the same. What do? Take all the boys aside in high school and show them how?
No one's hitting you anymore.
Nobody needs to. He already did a good enough job.
I'm sorry.
I better go.
You didn't do anything wrong. You don't have to go.
No, I want to go.
Viv,
I hate it.
Sorry what he did. But I want you to know I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, nothing's your fault. He just works for you, doesn't he? You just give him some of your money and you can't be blamed for what he does behind your back. How many people has he hit while you weren't around to see? How many? I'm getting out of here.
All right, I understand. Here. I was going to give you this tomorrow, but I'll give you it now. 3,000.
I don't want it.
That's crazy. Take it. You need it. You earned it.
I don't want it.
Vivian, please. Don't make this hard.
Hard. What do you know about hard? Do you know how many guys I'd have to make this much money on the street? They'd fill up this room. And I'd rather have done it that way if I could, if I had never met you. I wish I had never met you.
Thanks, guys.
We want to make it clear we don't have what the Broadway script is going to be yet for obvious reasons.
Well, and that's kind of the point of why we showed this. This is the scene from the movie. And the creative team has specifically addressed this scene and said that they are making steps to change it, to strengthen Vivian's self-determination. In fact, in particular, they are going to add something early in the show to indicate that she's very eager to leave prostitution, and they're going to rework this scene that you just saw where she's assaulted so that she defends herself and gets herself out of the room.
And it's not just a boy with the money coming to save her.
Yeah, exactly. Edward breaking up the fight and then sending her away with an envelope full of money. In fact, Samantha Barks is the actress right now who's playing Vivian, and she was quoted as saying this: "I love a Cinderella story, but this turns it on its head. The prince and the princess need rescuing, and both help each other to grow."
And you know what? I hope that they do give her a lot more agency in that, because, you know, I'm not sitting here hoping that these things will fail. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not just sitting here beating my women's college drum either, going strong women, and that's all I ever want to see. But I think this season, the one that really rubs me the wrong way the hardest is the last scene we're about to go into here. Let's talk carousel.
Okay, This is side 4. Can you all come up for... Is that right?
Yep.
Look, I want to give you a present.
Don't come in, mister. My mother wouldn't like
No,
it.
I don't mean you any harm, child. I just want to give you something.
Don't you come any closer. You go away with your white face. You scare me.
No, don't chase me away. I want to give you a present. Something pretty. Something wonderful.
What's that?
A star.
Go away.
No, darling, please, I want to help you.
Don't call me darling. Let go of my arm.
No, I'm going to make you happy. Take this.
No!
Please.
Mother!
Failure! You struck out blindly again. All you ever do is get in difficulty is hit someone you love. Failure!
Where is he?
Oh, he's gone. I didn't make it up, Mother. Honest, there's a strange man here, and he hit me hard. I heard the sound of it, but it didn't hurt, Mother. It didn't hurt at all. It was just as if he kissed my hand.
Go into the house, child.
What's happened, Mother? Don't you believe me?
Yes, I believe you.
Then why don't you tell me why you're acting so funny?
Oh, it's nothing, darling.
But is it possible, Mother, for someone to hit you hard like that, real loud and hard, and not hurt you at all?
It's possible, dear. For someone to hit you hard and not hurt at all.
And that's the line that so many people point out and say, why are we even reviving this show? To be honest.
Yeah, and you can see why it's problematic. Ladies, thank you. Can you sit down? Let's remember, grab your left side. Let's remember, though, what's said in argument for Carousel. The show isn't over at this point. There's one more page, and the doctor has an opportunity to make a speech.
I can't tell you any sure way to happiness. All I know is you got to go out and find it for yourselves. You can't lean on the success of your parents. That's their success. And don't be held back by their failures. Makes no difference what they did or didn't do. You just stand on your own 2 feet. The world belongs to you as much as it does to the next fellow. Don't give it up. And try not be scared of people not liking you. Just you try liking them. Just keep your faith and courage, and you'll come out all right.
Thank you.
So we tagged that little bit of a Band-Aid ending on it, but really...
Well, Band-Aid, yes and no. The argument for keeping these classics in our repertoire is strong. Mm-hmm. It is important, just as in the speech that Alex did so beautifully for us, and it is important to keep in mind what our mothers and fathers, how they lived, what gender roles said, what were put in place for them. And now the fight of the younger women who are screaming out and marching, and older women too. But I feel like it's really up to our generation to make a point of this. We can't lose these pieces. We have to see where we've been to know where we're going.
Absolutely. And
without the carousels, you don't have the waitresses.
True enough.
Right?
Yeah. Or you don't even have the big article in the New York Times where you've got, saying the problem with Broadway revivals. It's, we're reviving gender stereotypes. Should we even have these shows anymore? But the fact that we can have that conversation.
That's right. It's about a conversation. In fact, if you have a hard time understanding quite the motivations of the Me Too movement, I got some really good advice, actually, from a friend of mine who is a young black woman who, when we were talking about Black Lives Matter, she said, you could try this. What's one thing that you could do as a privileged white woman? What's one thing I could do is I could ask my black friends or new friends, how does it make you feel when you see this media, when you hear this joke, when you hear these names? How does that make you feel? That's one step that we could make. If you don't quite understand a problem that someone would have with these wonderful, glorious, golden pieces of our repertoire, you might just ask, how does it make you feel when you hear the line, yes, it's possible to be hit and not feel it?
We were talking about the idea of taking your daughter to see, for instance, Carousel, and what sort of message am I showing her right now? And then saying, then you take her to Waitress that night and you say, we were here, now we can be here, and then we'll see where we're going to go from here. But to take these pieces away, and actually, to be honest, my standpoint is very strongly that we do need these pieces. It is odd. We went through a lot of research and we're like, let's look at all the past seasons. Is it just there are more revivals right now? I honestly am going to chalk it up to coincidence that we have all of these with seemingly the same narrative happening in the same season.
Right, where once the woman becomes ideal, then if she takes one step forward in her agency, it will result in physical violence.
Yeah. It's honestly, the point of our podcast here is to have these conversations and kind of examine things, open them up, and sort of look at them from another angle. And so this was kind of our little exercise in seeing how this whole thing has evolved over the years, and who knows where we'll go from here with our narratives.
And that's our podcast. So we have found our passion and our love mixing the idea of creating new media and our geekiness for theater and film history all at one time, but we need your help, and we are not asking for money.
If we haven't said that enough, it's free.
It's very simple. We need you to go on YouTube, to go onto iTunes or Google Play or Stitcher or iHeartRadio, and we need you to click the button that says subscribe. And then if you really want to show us some love, you will give us a 5-star review. And then if you really love us, you can leave a message, a comment, a review on these absolutely free platforms that will help other theater nerds like you, like us, find our podcast and get these conversations going.
And in speaking of ways to have the conversation, what a lovely world we live in now. For those of you who know the Twitter, know the Facebook, know how to reach out to us. You have an idea for an episode? Please let us know. You can email us at, actually, you know what? We have all of the info on the card.
On
right?
the card.
So,
we're at Strange Deer, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. And if you want to email us, you can at strangebutTrueDear@gmail.com.
We didn't practice that.
Jess is now going to hand out some postcards for you on your way out. You can get your phones out right now if you need someone to walk you through how to open up your podcast app. We are more than happy to help you.
But we'll keep doing these shows, and you keep giving us feedback, and we would love to have more conversations with you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.